Okay, so the questions on the table, are we evolving? Now, we know that technology is evolving all the time. Is this it? Have we reached the pinnacle of who we are? This is all we're able to do? Now, I think that the real question is, are we evolving in our understanding and knowledge of who we really are and the nature of reality? That's what I think we need to be asking ourselves, because I'm an example of things that are different, of what we're really capable of being. We're actually awesome, incredible beings with talents and abilities that we're not living. It's amazing. So for example, I can see energy fields. I can see auras coming off of people. This is a natural ability that all of us have. I've just developed it more. Or I have the ability, and we'll talk more about that later, I also have the ability to expand my consciousness and go into places remotely, whether it's in location or time. This is something we're also able to do, but we don't know that because we haven't been taught that. I also bend spoons, not a useful talent unless you want to see that everything's made of energy. I also know how to navigate and move through parallel universes consciously. This is pretty amazing. Now, I know there are a lot of people out there that are carrying the beliefs that this isn't possible. I understand that, so they think we can't do this. There are also a lot of people out there that are carrying the belief that we shouldn't do this. And what I want to say is, I respect you, I honor you with whatever beliefs you have, and I trust that you're on a path that's making you happy, and it's okay. But for the rest of you who feel like there's something going on right now with our consciousness and an evolution of what's happening as we as a species, I'm going to be telling you my story and my experiences. So I like Einstein's quote. I'll paraphrase him. I can't find the exact quote. That a problem can never be solved by the same thinking or the same consciousness that created the problem in the first place. So in order to change our lives and our world, we need to dramatically change how we're thinking. And what I think is cool is that quantum physics, nobody glaze over, quantum physics is telling us something amazing about who we really are, about the nature of reality, and we're not living it. And it's very profound. We're still living with the belief system of classical physics, which is hundreds of years old. My gosh, we don't even hold on to our computers or cell phones more than a couple years, and we're still carrying a belief system that is hundreds of years old. So just to give you an example, classical physics says basically that, number one, everything is solid and we're separate from everything else. Number two, that consciousness is generated from the brain. And number three, these are just three things now. There's lots of things that classical physics is saying about reality. But number three, that there's only one reality and that it's linear. Now, quantum physics is saying the exact opposite. It's profound. It's actually saying that one, everything is made of energy and there's no separation at all, that there's no empty space between us. It's also saying that consciousness is non-local, which is profound, and that we're not separate from anything, that there's no empty space. And quantum physics is also saying that there is more than one reality, because that's huge. That's huge. Parallel universes they're talking about. And I'm going, is anybody out there paying attention to what they're saying with quantum physics? This is radical. It's profound. Even Stanford quotes how radical this is, that quantum physics has a completely different understanding of reality, and we're not living it. So let's just look at some of the first things that they're saying. One of the mindsets of, or one of the great formulas that quantum physics is saying is E equals mc squared. Now we've all heard that, right? Most people don't have a clue what that means, and it's very profound. E equals mc squared says that everything is made of energy. At the foundation of matter, everything is energy. Now, you guys, that's amazing. I don't know if that blows you away, but it kind of blows me away. Because what does this mean? That, if they go into atomic particles, atoms, they see empty space and a lot of subatomic particles. Every time they keep going further into matter, they're not finding anything solid there. It's all energy. So what does this mean for us? Well, first of all, if we really got that, if we really understood that everything's made of energy, we wouldn't be getting sick. We wouldn't be aging. We wouldn't be dying. There wouldn't be scarcity, there wouldn't be poverty. Oh my gosh, that's a radical way to change how we're living our lives. okay, right? But we're not doing it. So, okay, with energy, what can I do with energy? Well, I can see auras around people. I can see that you're made of energy. I see the energy radiating off of you. And I'm not the only person that does this. And not only that, all of us, if my consciousness is able to do that, everyone's consciousness is able to do that. So, for example, I can see this man right here has got yellow and violet aura. And what I know about him is yellows have a great sense of humor. They've got lots of ideas that they want to do, and they just want to bring joy and healing to the planet. But violets are very charismatic. They're dynamic leaders. They have to shift the consciousness of the planet. They don't like working for other people. They're visionaries. They've got these great ideas, and they have to play big. And there's a lot of violets in here, a lot of violets. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of violets in the front row. What are you all doing here? All these violets. Violets are leaders. They need to do something different. Okay, then we've got someone here that's actually got yellow and violet in his aura, but he thinks he's a tan. So what I see about tans is tans are more practical and analytical and logical, and they got to see the data and they got to see the facts. And usually tans are like, now wait a second, is this stuff real? You know, where's the scientific proof? Good news, he's still got yellow and violet, which will make him more curious, right? So the fact that I can see auras and energy fields around people, it's profound, you guys. It shows us that there's something more going on with consciousness. And the reason that this is helpful is because when I see different colors, it has a different personality type to it. It helps me understand who a person is and their life theme, the reason that they're here on the planet this time. So it develops compassion, and I allow myself to be who I am, and I allow others to be who they are. So that's one good benefit about being able to see energy. Okay, so how about consciousness? When they say consciousness is developed by the brain or generated by the brain. All right, now I could have a long conversation with neurophysicists about all of this, but let's just jump to the chase. If quantum physics is right and they're saying everything is energy, then the brain's only made of energy. There's nothing solid about the brain, so where is it that it's generating consciousness, right? What quantum physics is saying is that consciousness is non-local. That means it's not inside our brains, it's everywhere. And I use this every single day. I've been able to expand my consciousness and do profound things to help people. So for example, there was a plane crash Christmas Eve a few years ago in Panama, and they contacted me. I knew that there was only one survivor. I knew it was a young girl, and I knew her name. When they finally found the plane, this is exactly what happened. I had expanded my consciousness to go to where she was. Just not that long ago in Santa Barbara, 2 men went missing in the Mojave Desert. They contacted me. Nobody knew where they were, so this wasn't a cold reading and asking a bunch of questions. I was able to go and contact their consciousness and find where the bodies were, exactly where they were, and that's exactly where they found them. Now here's the trippy thing. Both those people were not in their bodies anymore. I was still able to contact their consciousness and have a conversation with them, which is why I knew where they were. So they didn't have physical brains anymore, but we were still communicating. I did a reading for a boy once, and when I tuned into him, I found that his father had cancer. I could feel he had cancer, and I warned him, and I knew exactly where the cancer was. Boy went home, told his father. The father went to the doctor. They found the cancer exactly where I found it. He credits me today for saving his life. He's still alive today. They said they barely caught it in time. So you can see how profound this is that we can do things. I also can step outside of time. I've been able to do readings on people and know who they're going to marry. Now, I know a lot of people are like, please don't tell me who I'm going to marry. But there's also a lot of people out there that are struggling and they're suffering, and it's like, I want to know where my love is. And I knew, for example, and again, I've been doing this for 28 years, so I have lots and lots of stories. So I knew one girl was going to meet a man named Michael. He lived in Montana. He had brown hair. This is who she was going to marry, and his previous wife had died from cancer. It's exactly who she's married to right now. So this is profound when people say, well, what value is this to be able to expand our consciousness? First of all, it shows us that there's more to our consciousness than we've been living. You guys, we're all still running around trying to pay our bills and worried about whether or not we can put gas in our car. We're living so much smaller than who we really are. And the fact that I was able to help save someone's life by being able to do that, help know where somebody could find love, and also help find missing bodies. I mean, my gosh, our consciousness is huge, you guys. It's really huge. And the reason I talk about this is because I like to see people happy. So then one of the other fun things that I do, this is quantum physics now. Sounds like science fiction, but remember that a lot of science fiction is now science fact. I'm able to use parallel universes to dramatically change my life. So the way that parallel universes works, I'm sure you've heard the double slit experiment, where they put a partition, they put 2 slits and then a screen on the other side. And what they did was they shot one single photon through this slit, expecting to see on the screen on the far side that one photon had gone through these double slits. Well, what they found instead is that somehow, mysteriously, this one photon went into superposition. It went into multiple places at the same time and went through both slits at the exact same time. Now, that's pretty radical right there. They couldn't figure it out. But here's one of the more radical things. Quantum physics says, oh my gosh, we're made of those same particles. So if those particles could be in multiple places at the same time, so are we. Again, sounds like science fiction, right? Science fiction, there's good. So anyway, and then the more profound thing about it is when they had an observer watching this particle to see when it split and went into 2 at the same time, while they were watching it, the particle didn't do that. It behaved itself and went through one slit only. They went, what the? Okay, so what they've discovered is that our consciousness is having an effect on reality. That our consciousness is not only affecting reality, but it may very well be creating reality. So it's very interesting to see that they believe that there's parallel universes. Now, the way this works for us is imagine, this is real now, you guys. Imagine you're walking down the street. You're headed for an appointment. You see a store. You go, oh, I'd really like to go in there and buy a new pair of jeans. Oh, I don't have time. And you keep going. There's an actual you that split off, went into that store, and is having an entire experience, individual, separate from you, living that life. So right now, there's a bunch of you that are still married. They're married to someone you met in high school. Some of you have never been married at all. Some of you don't have the jobs in parallel universes. So this is really profound. And they have evidence of this. Now, the cool thing is I went, all right, I'm going to use this. Years and years ago, I met a guy, totally fell in love. I'm a blue-yellow, so we blues, we love to be in love. Fell in love with this guy. Oh my gosh, I have to be with him. Well, he was not going to have anything to do with me. Not attracted. You're blonde. I don't like blondes. It was, this big story. I was devastated, but I realized that I was in a universe where I had the belief that I wasn't lovable, that I wasn't attractive, that I wasn't going to be good enough. And I went, oh, now wait a second, parallel universes. Let me see how this works. So what I did was I used my imagination. I believed that other universes really existed. And so I used my imagination to imagine myself in the universe where we were together. And he had moved to the East Coast in the meantime. By the way, stay away from me. Don't want to have anything to do with you. He moved all the way across the country. So in that version, I saw him giving notice to the band that he was with at the time, breaking up with the girlfriend that he was with at the time, because musicians always have girlfriends. Not for long, but they have them. And then I saw him going to Iowa to see his meditating friends. I saw him coming back to Los Angeles to see his rock and roll friends, and then coming back to Santa Barbara to be with me because he was actually in love with me in this universe over here. I hadn't contacted him for 2 years. I got a hold of him 2 weeks after I did that visualization. 2 weeks later, I called him. 2 weeks prior to that, he had given notice to the band, broken up with his girlfriend, was going to Iowa, was going to LA, was coming back to Santa Barbara to be with me. We've been together now for over 20 years. Now, the cool thing about that is people go, well, coincidence. But the thing is over in this universe over here, all my girlfriends were single and complaining about it. There's no good man. I hate this. I want to be in love. I want to be married. When I shifted over into this other universe by using my imagination, now remember, Einstein does say imagination is more important than knowledge, because knowledge is what we think we know can limit us. Imagination is what gives us this new life. So when I went over into this other universe, suddenly all my girlfriends were in relationship or engaged. And they're all married now. It's like, whoa. So it wasn't just me. Now, when people say, now, how come we can't see these other universes if they're real, if they really exist? I like to use the analogy of a radio waves. So right now in this room, there's lots of radio stations broadcasting all their material. You're not aware of any of it. It's not part of your reality right now because you're not tuned into it. It's invisible. If you go and turn on a tuner and you turn to, we're in Santa Barbara, 99.9, you're going to hear the information that's coming off of that radio station, right? What they're broadcasting. If you adjust the dial now to 101.7, you're going to hear a completely different reality. You're going to hear that music, that soundtrack. Now 99.9 is still broadcasting. You're just not aware of it because you're not tuned into it. You're not vibrating at that frequency. So if you want to practice with these parallel universes, number one, with any of this, quantum physics is saying all of this is real. Again, science fiction, right? You want to practice with this, number one, you have to believe this is really possible. Number two, maybe you want to read about quantum physics a little bit and see what they're saying. If it's a little over your head, okay, you can come talk to me. I understand a lot of it. I use it. You practice it. You pay attention. You listen inside, because I guarantee you, if you get really quiet inside, most of you know there's something more to us than what we've been taught. There's something evolving in our consciousness right now. I'm seeing it everywhere. I'm not the only person with these abilities. It's happening all over the world. So you practice, you pay attention, you believe in it, you feel. Now, by the way, even if you can't see auras, I guarantee you every single one of you have felt them. That's why you can be around somebody and feel connected with them or comfortable with them right away. And other people, you don't even want to be in the room. You don't like their energy. You're feeling their energy field. You're sensing it already. So that shows me right now that you guys are able to do this. So what my job is right now is to bring this to light, is to go, you guys, we're more than we've been taught. Quantum physics is saying profound things, and we're still living with an old consciousness of Newtonian or classical physics. Now, there's going to be a lot of people out there that still want to stick with that, and I understand it was probably hard for people when they first found out that the world was round. It's like, oh no, you're not tricking me. I'm not going over there and falling off the planet. There's still people that don't like to get on airplanes, even though we have the technology for flight now. But we have technology with quantum physics right now, and it's like we're still driving across the country in a covered wagon instead of flying. It's that same technology. So anyway, and by the way, it's helpful. It's fun. It's expanded consciousness. Everything's great. It's not scary. You're not going to lose your mind. I'm not crazy, okay? There are a lot of people doing this technology. So it's my job to just kind of be out here and show you guys what's really capable, what we're capable of doing, and having fun with it. So thank you very much for playing in my parallel universe today. Really appreciate you all showing up. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.